All right. Good evening, everybody. This is Matt Smith here, and we are going to get started. Tonight, we're going to be talking about how to get the phone to ring off the hook so much your schedule book is going to explode. And while we're talking about that, one thing that we're going to be exploring is the three secrets that I think the most successful inspectors know about marketing that you've probably never heard of. So we're going to talk about those three things as we're going along and talking about the best practices I would consider towards making the phone ring more in your home inspection company. And so before we get started, I'm going to I'm going to tell you a couple of things. You might be wondering, maybe you got an invite from us and you saw the topic and you were thinking, is this really the right place for me tonight? And I'll tell you guys, it's probably going to be about 45 to 47 minutes at most. We're not going to spend 2 hours on this webinar with each other tonight. Uh, if you guys want a longer form webinar, you can always email us at dreamteam@mikecrow.com, dreamteam@mikecrow.com, and let us know. But for tonight, decided to go a little bit more of the shorter approach, so we will be out of this probably by about 7:47 at the latest. Okay, so there are going to be there. You guys should have a chat bar that you can look in. I will be sometimes popping in there, taking a look at that as we go along. We are live. I am here in my office over at TexInspect, the headquarters of our home inspection company, the core company for the Mastermind Inspector community, TexInspect, where we test all of the things we teach. I am the director of marketing over there. So just as we're going along, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat bar. We're basically going to be planning to get out of here by about 7:47 at the latest. Now, you might be an inspector who's wondering, you saw something about talking about your schedule book or exploding in an email, or the three things that you needed to know, and you thought, am I in the right place? Well, if you're an inspector who you wake up in the morning, or maybe you have trouble sleeping at night, you wake up in the morning and you're not sure whether or not that phone is going to ring. You're not sure if all of the efforts that you took as far as your marketing and your lead generation the day before, if they're really taking hold, if you're hitting the right audience, if your message is connecting with the people, or if you're not separating yourself out of the pack, you're kind of looking like a commodity. These kind of fears, in other words, when I'm talking about commoditization, you get that all dreaded call that everybody in the inspector industry gets at least to a one point, if not sometimes multiple times during their career, which is you get that call that somebody says, all I care about is the price. What do you charge? And so you're worried that you're getting commoditized. If any of that sounds like you, then you are in the right place. So we're going to talk about tonight some of the best practices that I found to get the phone to ring more, and get it ring more in a systematized manner, not scattershot, not, oh, well, I got 3 calls today and I didn't get any calls the next day, but then I got 10 calls the next day, but then I didn't get any for the next 3 days. That's kind of just scattershot marketing that might not be hitting consistently. And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to consistently keep the phone ringing. So if you're somebody who's praying the phone is ring, or goes to bed worrying whether or not the phone's going to ring tomorrow, this is the right place for you. If you spend all day out there prospecting, you spend maybe a lot of time in the computer working on your online search efforts, or you spend all of your time putting things in one marketing basket or multiple marketing baskets, and nothing just seems to work, you go home beat down, you go home to your family, and you just can barely focus when you're sitting at the dinner table, because the reports you did right, you gotta go do those after dinner. If that's you, you're in the right place. Or if you're hoping for an exit strategy, so you got things cooking right now, you've had things just rolling right along, everything's going really well, you're a very, very, very successful single-man inspection firm. And by the way, just to clear this up as we go along, I'm going to be talking about maybe a couple of misconceptions people have about Mastermind Inspector community as we go along. One of them is that we are just all about the multi-inspector firms. It's go multi or go home. That couldn't be further from the truth. I believe that single inspector firms what they can do is they don't necessarily need to add multiple inspectors, but maybe they can market themselves and position themselves in the marketplace to where they can make $600 inspection fees, $700 inspection fees. I know a lot of successful single man inspector firms that are doing that, and a lot of them with the tactics that we teach at Mastermind Inspector Community, some of which I'm going to talk about tonight. You might be wondering if you got an exit strategy going along. You're cooking, you're rolling right along, and then all of a sudden you're thinking, well, maybe I want to pass this down onto somebody else, or maybe I want to, what am I going to do when I close up shop? What's the next step? And you're wondering what that exit strategy might be. Some of these things that we're going to talk about tonight are things you can put in place to make your company an attractive option to sell, to pass down onto somebody, or maybe even to negotiate a deal where somebody takes over the company for you, and the agreement upon you're leaving the company and bringing it to somebody else is that you get a nice little paycheck until the day you die, and you're basically getting paid for giving them the company. Those are a couple of things. So we're going to talk about exit strategies as we go along as well. So here's what you're going to discover tonight. You're going to discover how to get the phone to ring off the hook so often you can't handle it. We're going to talk about 3 secrets that most home inspectors don't know about growing their business. And we're going to talk about the #1 fastest shortcut to doubling your bottom line, and specifically how to make that happen, how to get that done. Because it's one thing to just, for me to tell you, hey, this is the super awesome #1 fastest way shortcut to double your bottom line, and then roll right past it. But if I tell you how to do it with specifics, then I think that that's really what you guys are here to learn. So we're going to talk about that in some depth as well. If you guys could wave a magic wand and you could live the perfect life that you wanted, what would that look like? So maybe it looks like this a little. Maybe you can sleep well, get that peace of mind at night that you had, knowing that your business is running like a machine. You hear relief when you hear your phone ringing. So you don't hear the you don't have dread thinking, oh gosh, this is going to be another price shop, or oh my gosh, I'm going to have to fight tooth and nail to keep this person, or you're not going to think, oh my gosh, this is the only phone call I've had all day, I really hope I get this guy. But instead, because your business is rolling along and it's systematized, you'll hear relief. Finally, maybe break your chains, take a family vacation, because you don't always have to be present. And so those are a couple of things that for some people, that's like their perfect world. And so some of this stuff that we could put in place could facilitate that happening. Now, I'm going to talk a lot about tonight about a couple of things, and you really do have the option in your hands whether or not to work within it or to implement it. If you don't, if you do nothing, if you decide to raise your eyebrow, cock your eyebrow and scoff at what I have to say, well, you know, you might continue to beat your head against the wall, because I've done that. I'm going to tell you briefly my story, but you continue to beat your head against the wall, come home so tired you won't be present for your family. And then once you get to that point where you're looking at a strategy for exiting, maybe you have some bitterness after realizing you have nothing to pass on. So quickly about me, and then we're going to get in, because this is not all about me. I'm not here to talk about myself, brag about myself, but I want to give you guys a little background information on who I am. So my background, actually, before I got started in the home inspection industry, was in radio. And that's mainly where, this is really how I talk. Maybe it's just force of habit. I'm not putting on any airs, not putting on any kind of special speaking voice. This is really how I talk. But I first started out in radio, and I was a salesperson for an internet radio station, because in 2009, the radio industry took a nosedive, and it really never has recovered. A lot of it's gone online. So a lot of my friends, my former friends in terrestrial FM radio, a lot of them lost their jobs. And I was one of those people who found myself on the outs. And so I started working as a salesperson for an internet radio station. And I wasn't making enough money to pay the bills. I was making $300 a month. So I started taking a job cleaning toilets, which some people might think, well, that's an easy street job, man. There's no possible way you could mess that up. I got fired from that job for not being detail oriented enough. I actually got, they let go. And so I had to find a different way other than working 2 jobs, cleaning the toilets at night, trying to improve my sales in the day. And I met a guy by the name of Mike Crow. He's actually the founder of the Mastermind Inspector community. We started working closer together. And I actually started launching my own online marketing business, specifically using video as the tool. And I thought everything was going all well and fine. Everything was rolling along. Everything was going perfect. And then I kind of hit my breaking point. I remember when I first started running that company, I was director of sales. I was partnered up with a guy in Minnesota. We were both from Minnesota originally. And he came in on October 31st, Halloween of that year. We had basically been in business for 2 months. And he said, Matt, we're out of money. We can't get the phone to ring. That was our biggest problem. We didn't know how to get the phone to ring. Matt, can't get the phone to ring. I'm packing it up. I'm going back to IT auditing. You can do whatever you want, but we're entering this partnership. So I did what I usually do. I've been a musician for most of my life. I was a professional musician for 8 years. And so when you are playing music for 8 years in the bars, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, you basically go in, and if you're the headlining act, you go in, you glad hand with everybody, you make friends, and you sit at the bar all night drinking until you go on. If you're opening, you go in, you play your set, you sit around drinking all night waiting to get paid. And so what happened was that night, it was 8 years of my life. The night that we basically ended our partnership, I went to the bar and started pounding back drinks. And that realization came to me that, man, not only have I now, at 25 years old, run a failed company, we went out of business in 2 months essentially, but I just realized now I got a drinking problem too. And that was the point where I decided I need to start changing things for myself. And so what I did was went to Mike Crow. I said, what can I do to help? I want to apprentice under you. And for the past 6 years now, I've been working in the home inspection industry. I learned how to answer the phones. I learned how to market. I actually started becoming director of marketing for a company here in Texas called TexInspect, which is the Mastermind Inspector community's core company. And now I actually get to tour all across North America, teaching home inspectors the things that I've seen have worked in the home inspection industry. So here's the big thing of what I did. Basically, I spent more time hanging around people who have proven that they know how to make the phone ring, and I asked them to show me how. Mike was one of them, but also I get to talk to a lot of big home inspection companies here in North America, and I ask them, what are your best practices for making the phone ring? Kind of like what Napoleon Hill, if anybody's read Think and Grow Rich, did with Andrew Carnegie. And that's basically what I did, and a lot of those we started either through Mike or maybe on suggestions of other people. We started putting them into place in TexInspect, and they've been working. And so before I get into the first thing, I just want to explain real quick why I'm teaching this stuff. The first thing is, when I first came into the inspection industry, I felt worthless. I felt like nobody cared about me, not even my own family. And as I started to see you guys, the inspectors in North America at these conferences, you actually treated me quite well. You treated me like a human being. You treated me as having things of value worth talking about. You came to me as a friend. And so every day I wake up fired up wanting to give back. And just because of the way you guys treated me, it was the first time in my life where I actually felt like somebody cared about me. We have a goal to create 100 millionaires at Mastermind Inspector Community. And the reason why is because this is a personal mission of mine. Every $1 million company has, and that's $1 million gross, every $1 million company has usually about 10 people that they hire. And that usually gives anybody who grows that company an opportunity like I got with Mike, to be able to have you guys, should you grow to $1 million company, you have the opportunity to be a mentor to somebody else who might be looking for some knowledge in their life. And so that's kind of something that's big to me. And the last thing is just quickly to avoid my tribulations, avoid kind of the pain that I went through, so you don't have to beat your head against the wall anymore. So what you're going to discover tonight is the number one biggest mistake that inspectors make to keep the phone silent, and the 3 things you got to know to go from no calls to the constant sound of your phone ringing. So the best way I can demonstrate these is by bringing up a couple case studies. I'm basically going to show you guys 3 case studies from different inspection companies across North America, and I'm going to highlight a couple of things that they did in order to essentially in order to grow their company. So the first one here is Rob and Michelle Hopkin. They're from a company called ProTech Inspections out of Poolesville, Maryland. When they first came to the Mastermind Inspector community, they were struggling a little bit. Now they're a $2 million company. And in fact, Rob went from ending his days at midnight, so basically doing reports, doing the inspections, doing all the necessary stuff to grow the company. He went from his day's end at midnight to 6 p.m., basically pulling into the driveway for dinner and his day being done because he was able to get his reports done on site. And one of the ways that he was able to do that is through something we have called Report Blueprint. But the big thing that they used was Maven marketing tools. Now, I'm going to explain what Maven marketing is real quick. Okay, and this is actually one of the three things that are going to help you blow your phones up, guys. The first big thing is what we call Maven-driven marketing. And let's see. Wow, we got 42 people on here. I want to turn on the fire hose. Cool. All right, Brian. My marketing works on a steady drip, but I want to turn on the fire hose. Very cool. We will definitely touch on that. I've got something that's going to be exactly for that. If you guys have a question, and like I said, I'm even willing to stay a little bit later after the call, after the webinar, answer any questions. If you guys have anything that you want to add, please use the chat thing. So yeah, I'm sharing my screen right now. I'm sure you guys can see this. There's something over here in the more section called chat. You guys have a question, feel free to use that. And as time permits, I'll answer those questions. So I want to talk about Maven-driven marketing because this is one of those things that will turn on the fire hose, to answer Brian's question. A lot of people, and all of us, we want to do business with the home buyers. And if there's one thing I could dispel real quick, it's that sometimes people think they latch on to what I'm about to say and think that we don't care about the home buyers. Not true. Okay? If you're not giving your home buyers a good, solid, thorough, ethical home inspection where they benefit and they're happy at the end of the home inspection, you're not doing your job, and all you're going to do is put yourself out of business faster. In fact, I tell a lot of people, I tell everybody, in fact, that when you're starting out in business or even as you're growing, you want to have one strong system that markets to home buyers and one strong system that markets to Mavens. That system could be online, that system could be offline, but you should have one strong system where you market to home buyers and one strong system where you market to Mavens, and you should also have one strong system online and one strong system offline. And those are the four systems you should have. Sometimes it could be two. You can have one online that works really well with home buyers, and you can have one offline that works well with Mavens and gets you referrals. But Maven-driven marketing is essentially working with people that have the ability to refer you more home buyers. The home buyers, marketing specifically to home buyers when you're first starting out or when you don't have a lot of capital in the coffers, it can be very expensive because it's a lot harder to find them. It's a lot harder to be in the places, a lot more expensive too, to be in the places where they're specifically looking for you right then and there. They're going, I want this inspector now. And of course, there's even services out there that take advantage of home inspectors and I'm not going to name any of them, but they take advantage of home inspectors wanting to reach out to those buyers directly, and they say, oh, we'll get you in touch with the buyers, and then the home inspector on the other end doesn't know that that phone that's ringing with the buyer who's interested, it's not a hot lead, and they're probably competing against three other home inspectors who are getting the call at the same time. And so there's even people who prey on home inspectors who really, really want to get that home buyer who's in the right place at the right time looking for the right home inspector. It can be very costly. And sometimes, like I said, there's companies out there who could promise us the moon and they don't deliver. So it's important to have both sides of the coin so that you can actually, if you're doing Maven-driven marketing, have enough tools to, if you ever do want to work, have enough capital to if you do ever want to work exclusively with home buyers, you have the capital to do that at this point. But finally, that all being said, Mavens are people that have influence over the home buyers and can refer those home buyers to you frequently because they come into contact with more home buyers than we do on general occasion. And so some of these people are, one that is the low-hanging fruit is the real estate agent. Now, I'm going to clear a couple of things up about real estate agents before we go any further, because some of you might have gone, real estate agents. And I completely understand that. Here's the thing. I don't want to work with the real estate agents that are only concerned about their commission and telling me, hey, don't write up this foundation, don't write up this ad because it's going to kill my commission. Those guys are usually that way because it's like the one transaction they get all year, or like one of four. I'm looking for the top 1 to 5% of real estate agents in my marketplace who have multiple buyers every single week, and they realize that the only way that they stay at the top is by constantly referring out good people who give good work, a good home inspector who does a good, solid, thorough home inspection. And so by the end of the transaction for the buyer, they're not having buyer's remorse, and the agent just scampers off with their commission. Those people don't last anyways. Those are like the 95% of real estate agents. I don't want to work with those guys. I want to work with the top 1 to 5% who are going to let me do my job. Those are the guys I focus after. But if you just don't want to work with real estate agents entirely, I understand. And so there's other people that can actually give you referrals out there. It's not just the real estate agents, okay? You can work with mortgage people. You can work with title people. In the Northeast, for some of you guys that are coming in from the Northeast, the real estate attorneys are actually more powerful. Moving companies, past clients. There's about 15 different what we would consider mavens, but past clients can be a maven. A lot of us don't have systems, or if we do have systems, they're not effective enough for us to reach out to our past clients and remind them, hey, if you have anybody else that's looking for a home inspection, remember the great work that we did for you. And yes, guess what, guys? As long as they're not in your market, as long as they're not your competition, other home inspectors can be effective mavens as well. We get referred work from people all the time from other parts of the country that are home inspectors. And by the way, I myself give out multiple referrals for home inspectors in other parts of the country. In fact, I just gave one out to a home inspection company I knew in Texas, because somebody I knew up here was actually a massage therapist I knew up here was actually, her grandson was moving down to Texas and was looking for somebody. So even other home inspectors can be effective mavens for each other. I mean, sometimes we see that on like the Facebook boards all the time. I got an inspector in Clarksville, Michigan. Who can take this? And so even other home inspectors can be effective mavens. One of my rules of thumb for mavens is they have to be able to send you at least 5 jobs a year. And here's why it's so important and effective to market to mavens. Because let's take the average baseline price for a home inspection. Some are a little bit more, some are a little bit less, but $300, just for argument's sake. Let's just do the math here on $300 per inspection fee. Let's say that somebody gives us 5 jobs a year. That maven gives us 5 jobs a year at $300 per inspection. By the end of the year, that's $1,500 just from that one maven for the year. Now, I know on average, the lifetime value of a maven is 3 years. Either that or they quit, they go into a different market, they decide to do something completely different with their life, they decide that they want to go, go to a horse ranch and just work with horses the rest of their life, whatever it might be. They just decide they want to do a different thing in their life. They retire, they quit, they work with a different kind of clientele, so they're not sending home buyers to home inspectors anymore, what have you. 3 years is on average how long a maven will last in the business to send us referrals. So we know the lifetime value of just one of those mavens is $4,500 for one. And so I'm trying to work with a lot of those guys. And here's the cool thing. If you do want to work solely with buyers, if you're just starting out or you don't have the capital to do that, I would suggest maven-driven marketing. And eventually you could get so much money flowing into the coffers that you can eventually put all of your marketing dollars behind working exclusively with buyers. But that's why maven-driven marketing is so important. Now, a couple other tools they used that were maven-driven marketing tools was they did presentations. They do a lot of presentations. What you see down here is one of the newest ones we've started doing in offices is Facebook Live. We teach our mavens how to use Facebook Live as an effective marketing tool, because a lot of them, depending on the industry you're working with or depending on the market, a lot of them are not very tech savvy. Whereas a lot of home inspectors tend to be much more tech savvy than the people who refer them. So we get to show them just a quick 7-minute presentation sometimes on something like Facebook Live. One of my other favorite ones to do is called Avoiding the Aggravations of Home Inspections. And that's what I teach pretty much exclusively to real estate agents. The reason why is because it teaches real estate agents in a humorous manner not to be a disruption at the inspection site, and how to effectively, basically keep the home inspector and the buyer on the same, basically not to involve themselves and actually do something that might kill their own deal when we're doing our home inspection. That's one of my other favorite ones to do. It clears up a lot of misconceptions for those real estate agents. So I go in and I always teach what I call educational presentations. It is the #1 fastest way to grow your business is educational presentations. So I said I would give you the #1 fastest way to double your business. This is it. Walking into an office and speaking for anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour about something, this is the key, educational. You can't just go in there and talk about yourself. If you talk about yourself and you brag about yourself, you kind of get tuned out, because everybody goes, oh my gosh, another sales pitch. Well, I've heard so many of these, I'm not going to listen to this guy. And so your explanations fall on deaf ears. But if you go in there and you teach them something, you're going to talk about, hey guys, I just want to talk about, and for example, here's another one in Texas that's big. I'm just going to talk about, for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to talk about dispelling some of the myths about termites here in Texas. So we're going to talk about termites, what termite inspections are, what termites inspections aren't. So you can even do the technical classes if you want, but they should be educational in nature, because that really helps you build your authority. It makes you look like you know what you're talking about. And everybody wants to do business with a home inspector that knows what he's talking about. The other thing I would say is bring in home cooked food. Don't bring in pizza, don't bring in muffins, don't bring in donuts, don't bring in bagels, and here's why. And by the way, this is where I will say, because I've had some people tell me it works really well for them. Just because I say something, if it's working for you, don't change it. Somebody once told me, hey, Matt, you said this about direct mail, and I was doing it a completely different way. I stopped doing that, and all of a sudden my business dried up. I said, well, if it was working for you, why didn't you change it? Just because I didn't say it. So don't change anything that's not working. But usually, at least in my experience, what I've seen is a lot of people bring in the donuts, a lot of people bring in the bagels, a lot of people bring in the muffins, a lot of people bring in the pizza. And a lot of the times that's so card laden, so they're kind of nodding off while you're speaking. Whereas if I bring in something healthy, if I bring in something a little bit different that differentiates me, if it's home cooked, it sticks out in their head and they're more apt to listen to me. So those are a couple of things about educational presentations. By the way, one last thing about these, I never call them presentations. I call them classes or educational training sessions, because in my market, so many people have gone in and talked about themselves that the word presentation causes people to think that I'm going to come in and sell, and I don't actually even get the opportunity to book it. The other thing they did was they actually visited offices of their mavens on a weekly basis to go in, build rapport, build relationships, get to know people, get known, liked, and trusted, which still in this game is still important. People need to know, like, and trust you. This doesn't mean that that's all it's going to be. I'm not just, all marketing, no quality service. That's not true. In fact, if you have good marketing but no good quality service, all you're going to do is put yourself out of business faster, okay? They'll tell everybody, well, he's got good marketing, but that's about where it stops. But a lot of people in the real estate industry are know, like, and trust people. That they're taught that that's how they get to know people. Whether that be agents, whether that be mortgage people, whether that be title people, even if you're dealing with past clients, you need to reaffirm the value that they gave them by playing the know, like, and trust game. So one of the ways to do that is to reach out to the people consistently. So Rob and Michelle, they visited offices of their mavens on a weekly basis, and they even had a data sheet looked like this that told everybody what their office list was. So moving on, this is Jeff Donaldson. He's a friend of mine out in Wando, South Carolina. His company is Ace Preferred Inspections. He is an engineer. So for anybody that thinks, oh, you've got to be like a natural born salesperson or a natural born marketing person in order to get this stuff, not true. Jeff comes from an engineer background, which means he's great with numbers. And he's managed to take this stuff and grow as well. And even when his market's been down, he's $1 million inspection company now. One of the best things that I saw Jeff do is he works his plan and he plans his work. So this is something called the 2-week calendar. And I'm going to go quickly through a couple of pieces on this that I think are the most important points. So a lot of the time, people go, I just don't have enough time to get things done. Well, I would advise you, plan your calendar out the week before, or even 2 weeks before. Plan your calendar out for the next 2 weeks. And one thing you have to do is stick to focus time. This is 2 hours you take, and if you're not having a lot of inspections to fulfill, then it could be 4 hours a week. You could put 2 hours on Monday and 2 hours on Friday. Basically 2 hours to work on something that's going to bring you forward. 2 hours to work on getting a brochure together that you could distribute in offices that looks as professional. Maybe 2 hours on Friday to work on your website and actually make it applicable for people that are buying homes to go onto your website and schedule an inspection straight off your website. You can work on focus time. And then the next thing is date night and family night. That actually goes, so I'm going to give you the order of how to put these on your calendar. And guys, I'll warn you, it's going to seem a little counterintuitive. Just trust me on this. So the first thing you're going to put on there is focus time. 2 hours at least. If you have the bandwidth, 4 hours if you can manage it. Then date night and family night go on next. And this should be the same night every single night, every single week. Same night every single week. And here's the reason why. Is when people are in business for themselves and they have a spouse, a lot of the time security gets rocked a lot, and a lot of spouses need security and commitment to feel comfortable. And since you're in business for yourself, the security boat gets rocked a lot. But if you could show them that you're committed, then that shows that you're still committed to the relationship. You're still committed to the marriage. And guys, the reason especially that I bring this up is if I or Mike or anybody else helps somebody and we grow your business, but at the same time, the marriage falls apart because you're working so often, then in my opinion, we didn't do our jobs, because I'm not here to cause anybody to be so successful that they lose their relationship. Then after that, marketing time. Specifically, we block out time in marketing because especially when you're the person doing the inspections, you're doing the marketing, you're answering the phones, you're doing everything. You don't have a lot of time. You don't have a lot of free time to go, oh, I guess I could just go visit 10 offices. You've got to plan it ahead of time. So as you can see, we have at least 3 slots here, sometimes an hour, sometimes 2 to do marketing, and then that all important Tuesday morning to go to an office meeting and do a presentation. And then Sunday or whatever day you want, give yourself a little time off too. So that's work. And then finally, that's where the appointments get filled in. You can do 2, you can do 3. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 inspections on here. And a single man inspection firm, man, you can make a very good living off of 14 inspections a week. Absolutely. So that's the 2-week calendar. And that's working your plan and planning your work. The other thing Jeff does is he has a spreadsheet where he actually knows his numbers. And he basically plugs his numbers in and he knows exactly where he's at. If you're not measuring your numbers, you need to measure your numbers. And there's a couple of different softwares like ISN out there and things like that, but you should be measuring your numbers every single day. In fact, at about 2.5 hours, no, about an hour and a half now, the call center next to me, I got the ladies that answer our office, answer the phones in our office. They're going to send me a report, an end of day report about everything that got scheduled versus what didn't, versus what called us back and scheduled at the end of the day. So I measure our numbers every single day at Tax Inspect. And well, you might not have as much going on as say Tax Inspect does. One thing you will want to do is measure your numbers on a regular basis and have some kind of spreadsheet or software that helps you do that. So moving on to the last case study for the night, we got about probably about 10 to 13 minutes left. This is a couple of friends of mine out of Phoenix, Arizona. I've lived in Phoenix. I lived in Phoenix for about 8 years of my life. So first time I met these guys, I felt a kinship with them. It's John and Kathy Tyler out of Phoenix. John actually met us at a NASHI meeting, and I'm not telling tales out of school here. John will tell you this. He originally met us because we were doing a lunch meeting at the ASHI meeting in Phoenix, ASHI Inspection World in Phoenix. And John said, partly out of desperation and partly out of wanting a free lunch, he went and listened to what we were talking about. He also grew 3 straight years once he started putting Big Bang Marketing in place, which I'm going to talk about here in a second. And so the first year he grew 23%. The next year, and that was just kind of about half the year. The next year did 106%. The next year he did 40. And one of the things he did is he went and bought his own super office where he has a conference center. He has a bunch of things like that. So he's able actually to move the office out of his home and have an office for his own company. With one thing I'm about to show you. Because you see, John and Kathy implemented a business strategy so powerful, it's going to double the number of time your phones ring, and it only takes 16 seconds to implement. And I'm going to show you real quick. So guys, we call that, and I'm going to clear up a couple of things about that real quick because we do it at TexInspect, and some guys in the past that I've met have kind of scoffed at the idea of filling up a chocolate bowl at offices, and it's more than just a chocolate bowl. But believe me, I'm a big systems and processes guy. I'm the kind of guy who, when I walk around, I want people to take me seriously. I don't want to be seen as a gimmick. None of that actually is what happens when you fill that bowl up. That bowl is just a foot in the door to get known, liked, and trusted and get more presentations scheduled. That's what that does. So you might get, you'll probably get, maybe a couple of jobs straight off of that candy bowl. But what really is going to explode the business is being able to have something to walk in and out of the offices with, where you get known, you get liked, you get trusted, and you get the ability to teach classes. And that's what blows your business up. So here's basically what they did. They got 6 glass candy bowls, 5 bags of candy, the Hershey's miniature chocolates, a roll of Scotch tape, 8 different flyers, 4 basic yet unique kinds. And so these flyers include versions of what is over here called the Just for Fun flyer. These all basically present themselves to a different personality type. There's 4 different personality types. By the way, there's also 4 types of Hershey's miniature chocolate. And this one is more for the fun-loving types. They like jokes. As you can see, there's jokes. And by the way, the jokes, they don't necessarily need to be funny. So if you're addicted to brake fluid, here's one that says right here, if you're addicted to brake fluid, you can stop whatever you want. Okay? They don't need to be, high-level quality stand-up comedy jokes, okay, guys? Just something to catch their attention. And we got a little cartoon over here. We got a testimonial, of course, so they see that we're out there doing good work. And then they have a Sudoku puzzle. And so we actually create one of these every single month for us to go in and out of the offices with and put in their boxes. The same token, fellowship letter, testimonial letter, those are basically a client going, hey, this is what TexInspect did for me. They did a really good job. So those kind of personality types that read these, they need to see the results. They go, just don't tell me about all the good feel-good stuff. Give me the results. There are some people who need the chicken soup for the soul thing. And so they have the, actually the testimonial letter or the proof positive postcard are the give me the results people. The fellowship letter is the chicken soup for the soul type people who want the feel goods and the warm and fuzzies. And the last one is for like data people. We call it Inspection Times, which is basically a Q&A about inspection-related stuff. So those are the big 3 items. Now, I don't know why you showed up today. We're getting ready to close this thing down. I want to show you one more thing. And then by probably 7:45, 7:47, as I promised, because I believe in starting on time and I believe in ending on time, we'll wrap up. So I'm not sure why you showed up today. It could be you wanted more inspections. It could be you wanted more systems. It could be you wanted more freedom. But I hope you get this one thing. This is the huge, big takeaway thing, guys. If there's one thing you take away from tonight, please let it be this. You will be able to grow your business quicker by marketing to mavens, by marketing to the people best equipped to refer you. So what did we learn today? We learned maven-driven marketing. We learned the 2-week calendar. And we learned how to visit offices to get referrals the right way. Just to backtrack to make sure I add a little bit more depth to this, you want to have at least something, whether it be flyers, whether it be a brochure, whether it be a business card if you're going to walk into the offices of your mavens, or whether you're going to use the candy bowl. But you need to have something when you walk in here so you're not walking in empty-handed. If you're a really good trained salesperson, you might be able to walk in empty-handed. But for a lot of us, we're looking for a foot in the door, a way to start the conversation, and that's what this is. So that, I hope that's like the number one thing that you take away. If you don't take anything away out from this other than that, I hope you take away that. So we got about 7 more minutes. I want to just discuss one thing real quick. That system we talked about, Big Bang Marketing, we actually do offer that system to home inspectors. I wanted to take maybe the next 7 minutes and show it to you real quick. Basically, you got 2 choices. You don't have to buy from us. You don't have to buy from anybody, anything. You don't have to buy a book. You don't have to buy a CD. You don't have to buy anything. You could go for trial and error and beat your head against the wall like I did. Or you can get the speed of results. You can work with somebody who's already known and seen what's proven to work and basically just get their best practices. So what I'm going to show you now is the best practices. Quickly, I'll tell you who this is not for. If you're one of these 3, you don't have to worry about it. You could log off now. If you don't want to know about Big Bang Marketing, if you're lazy, if you don't want to work hard, if you just looking for the silver bullet, okay, I promise you, this isn't for you. You're going to have to put it into work. You're going to have to implement it. You're going to have to do something with it. It's not just, we're not going to send you a package and all of a sudden your business is going to explode. Okay. You're going to have to put some work behind it. If you're a know-it-all, if you think you know more than everybody else, and you think that, if you think, oh, I'm not going to do a candy bowl, or I'm not going to do this, or this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, you kind of scoff and you raise your eyebrow, probably not for you either. Okay. I want to just work with people who are coachable, people who are willing to listen. If you think you know more, then this probably might not be for you. And finally, the people that are going to abuse this stuff, if they're going to actually take this stuff, put it into place, get results, and then underbust the buyers of their market and just work for the exclusive benefit of those mavens and not give a rip about the home buyers out there and actually use it for bad, don't go any further either, because I don't want anybody to actually take anything that I'm teaching or anything that we have to offer you guys and use it for bad. So those are the 3 people I would say this is not for. So why MIC built this system is for inspectors to enjoy a higher quality of life without being chained to their business. It also helps eliminate the roller coaster effect. It creates a systematized process where it's not market. Okay, now I've got plenty of jobs. Now I've got to go fulfill them. So then they go inspect, and then they're not having a chance to market. So then all of their marketing goes down. So they have to go market. And this is designed to help eliminate that. I know home inspectors have been doing that for 18 years. And we can basically help them stop that. And the other thing is reach the goal so quickly it blows their mind. So the Big Bang Marketing system I'm about to show you is designed to make your phones ring quicker and more often. And here it is. Basically, we're going to send you one thing in the mail. We're going to send you a box. It has all of these manuals. It has some CDs in it. It has a bunch of other stuff in it. That's going to be the first thing that comes to you. It's going to be a big box. We actually redesigned it even. And the other thing is you're going to get access to a member website. And you're going to get access to educational presentations like you've never seen. Like that Facebook Live presentation I showed you guys earlier. We have 28 different presentations. We have 20 different presentations. Sorry, not 28, 20. That you could download straight from the member website we would give you access to. All you got to do is take our information off, and it's quite simple to do. We can even coach you through it. Take our information off, put your information on, and you're ready to go. And you have the PowerPoints and recordings of all of them, so you don't have to wonder what you're going to say. All you got to do is load up your PowerPoint when you walk into an office and basically deliver it. Now, in addition to that, we're going to give you 2 free months of Dream Team coaching. So monthly marketing materials, basically, it'll help you cut time trying to create new material. Those flyers that John and Kathy did and that TexInspect does that I showed you, these, we can basically give you guys templates for these every single month. So you don't have to basically reinvent the wheel making this every single time. And so also, we give you coaching calls, set up mastermind style. Nobody from your market's going to be on there. And we do those twice a month. where we basically answer your questions as well as go around and teach you something maybe you didn't know. And one of the things that's going to come in the box is this very sheet. It's actually a whole route notebook, not just this, but a whole notebook on basically creating a database of offices that you're going to visit, and we'll give you coaching on how to set it up. A couple of additional bonuses that we have. We actually have a 17-point introduction that we deliver with our clients to develop better rapport at the inspection. We're going to give that to you. In addition, we're going to give you the actual checklist right here. You can basically put it on a laminated card, and away you go with it. You can actually just keep it with you at all times so you know what to cover when you're talking to the buyer, so that they remember either to tell their maven or they remember to refer you because of the experience they had with you. Now, some of you guys don't want to be multi-inspector firms, and I understand that, but we have a process for how to set up a multi-inspector firm. And for those of you guys who are looking at the exit strategy, maybe you want to set your inspection firm up as if you were building a multi and just never go multi. That way it makes it easier, transferable across the board for people to actually, for you to pass the company on. So you're not saying you necessarily need to go multi, but if you ever decide you want to add somebody maybe later on down the road, you don't want to get under crawl spaces anymore, you can set it up from a multi. And we'll give you that for those multi guys who are basically making sure that their inspectors out in the field doing good. We'll give you the crow's house sheet that they can judge. We also give you the numbers game spreadsheet, the one that Jeff used, so that you can measure your numbers. So a lot of you guys don't get complaints, but if you do, we'll give you a resource on how to turn a complaint into a marketing event, and we'll give you our release form. We'll also give you a brochure and business card makeover, so you guys have access to basically, also I'm going to show you one more thing, but create better business cards. And finally, a CD set called Fire It Up. And that's something that's going to come in the mail to you again. So what's the investment for this? We'll give you a 30-day trial for $49.97 shipping and handling. If you decide to keep it, it's 2 monthly payments at $297. That's basically 1 inspection a month. And we have a guarantee. If you don't like it, send it back. We'll refund your money. If you come to our annual event 3 days, if you don't like 3 days the first day, we'll refund every cent you spent and pay you $500 for travel expenses. 2 more bonuses, and then we're done. I will spend an hour with you reviewing your brochure and business card and tell you what to leave and what to replace. That's an hour of my time if you act today. And we're going to go to a website. By the way, if John hasn't put it up already, go to homeinspectorblueprint.com and go to this link. It'll be up there till Saturday, and these 2 bonuses will be there. The other one is our report blueprint. So we'll show you how to get done faster on site, as well as we'll give you our own report software. So guys, that's all of this, all for the investment of $49.97 shipping and handling. And if you have any questions, or you want to call tomorrow, talk to somebody instead of go to a website, here's the number, 1-800-211-3981, and talk to one of our member care specialists. Thank you very much, guys. I said that we would be done by 7:47, and we are done by 7:47. Like I said, I believe it's starting on time. I believe I'm ending on time. And so, guys, I'm willing to stay around and answer any questions that you guys might have, not related to this, either related to Big Bang Marketing, related to possibly any other questions you might have. But basically, the education section for this is done. I'll sign off real quick, and I'll stay on to answer any questions you guys might have. So this is Matt Smith, the Director of Marketing for TexInspect, and for the Mastermind Inspector community, they call me the Marketing Person Extraordinaire. Guys, thank you very much. That website will be up till Saturday. Try out the Big Bang Marketing. Like I said, it's only $49.97 shipping and handling for 30 days. You got nothing to lose. It's all refundable. Basically, guys, thank you very much for coming on tonight. If you want a longer form webinar, feel free to email us, guys. Be successful and be around those that are successful. Now, I'll go ahead and we'll stick around. I'll stick around for a little while, and we'll see if we can answer any questions you guys might have. I see some Q&A. I see some stuff coming up on the chat. Philip Mosher said, thank you, Matt. And I will answer live and say, thank you, Philip. I guess I don't know if I could do this through text. I'm still figuring out this. I'm still figuring out this software. Thank you, Philip. Oh, Trevor said, can a copy of the webinar be obtained? For going into technical difficulties, Philip will make a replay of the webinar tomorrow and send it a link. And so Charles actually had the same question. So yes, guys, we'll send out a link. Most likely, it's going to be the homeinspectorblueprint.com place. Best approach for real estate lawyers. Let's go down here. Any tips on wording? Oh, good. All right. Yes. Richard Leonard, I think. Richard had a question. Richard, if you're still on the call, or the call. I'm so used to doing phone calls, guys. If you're still on the webinar, Richard, I will tell you this actually right now. So those of you guys, oh, perfect. Richard is here. And Brian, I will answer your question as well. So Richard, the best way to word to secure presentations, I actually got this down to a science. It's how I train all the marketing people in TexInspect now. The first thing is we take the same approach. And by the way, Brian, I'll answer your approach right now. The best approach for real estate lawyers that I've seen is the same way that we take our approach with real estate agents in the Metroplex. Still the best way I've seen, which is walking in. And when we walk in, Richard, this is what we say at the front desk. We say, hey, I'm Matt Smith. I'm here with TexInspect. I give names to what I'm delivering. You know, if I'm filling up a chocolate bowl, then I say, I'm just here to deliver the bowl. So first time I walk in, I might say like this, basically. Hey, is it all right if I set up a chocolate bowl in here? 9 out of 10 times, they don't even ask who I'm with, okay? They just say, sure. And then 10th time, they might say, we have to be sorry. I don't want you here. I want to be part of you. You need to be part of our vendor program or whatever variation of things they say to try and throw me off track. I just grab my stuff and I say, thank you very much. And I walk out the door. I've got plenty of other places I can be, especially if I'm a single man firm or a double man firm or a triple man firm. When you get to 20 inspectors, like we have a TexInspect, then we have to hit more offices. But you can be selective on what you want to visit. If they say give you any slack, they give you any grief, walk out the door. Ain't worth your time. Be around people that want to have you there, or at least are welcoming to you. So then I ask them the next question. When they say yes, I say, okay, well, where would you like me to set that up? 50% of the time they say right at the front desk, or they'll tell me the kitchen or wherever. So I'll go, I'll fill up the bowl, and then I will also say, I also have, for the materials we present, the flyers, for example, I'll say, also, by the way, I have some of our Just for Fun flyers and our brochures with scratch-off coupons. And basically, I'm going into a little bit more depth, Richard, because I also want to explain to Brian my approach for when I'm walking into odd offices as well. So I say, for example, I'm just here to deliver our Just for Fun flyers and our brochures with scratch-off coupons on them. Can I go ahead and take those back to the boxes? Or here's one way to do it subtly with some sales science, if you will, added on to it. Would you, so I always ask if I can go first. And I also ask in a kind of high, lighthearted tone. So would you prefer me go back to the boxes, or would you prefer you do it? See, I go really deep on my voice, and it almost sounds heavier for them to go out and to distribute these. And a lot of the times after I do that, maybe 3 or 4 times, they go, oh, you know what? Why don't you just go ahead and go back to the boxes? So I'm going over time and developing. It's week after week. Week after week, I'm going over there and I'm delivering this stuff. So I go in the back, I distribute my brochures, I distribute my flyers. If I get a chance to talk to any agents, I actually will make eye contact with them. It looks like they're interested in talking to me. I say, hey, how are you? They go, well, I'm doing all right. And I said, hey, let me ask you a question real quick. I'm Matt Smith with TexInspect. Have you used TexInspect recently? I'm not asking them who their home inspector is, because if it's Brian Shriver or if it's Richard Leonard and it's not TexInspect, I can't go, oh yeah, those guys, man, I wouldn't use that. I'm never going to down my competition, okay? Because I am the one who looks like the jerk. Downing your competition, blasting your competition, only going to hurt you. It's only going to hurt your business. So I don't even want to have that conversation. So instead I say, have you used TexInspect recently? And if they say yes, I go, cool. And I move on to the next part of my script here. If they say no, I say, well, would it be all right if I told you a couple of cool things that TexInspect's doing that we just started adding that take our services above and beyond what anybody else has to offer? And I talk about a couple of things that make us unique. So I do that with basically every single real estate agent I can have a conversation with at the offices. Now we're moving on to the presentation part. Here's the best way that I word presentation asking. The best way to secure presentations. On my way out the door, I will wave goodbye to the greeter. I call him the greeter, not the gatekeeper, simply because for those of you guys on the call with me or the webinar with me still, you know, it's probably we understand what a gatekeeper is. But for me, I just started using the term greeter because I have a team of varying people that do the marketing. One's 21 years old, and so she might see the word gatekeeper as hostile, and it might mentally shut her down towards going and approaching that person. Oh my gosh, that's the gatekeeper. They're hostile. But really, that's like the biggest friend you'll want to make in the office. So I walk out, I wave goodbye to the greeter. I say, bye, Susie, or whatever her name is. And I do what I call the Columbo close. And yes, I'm 31 years old, but I do know who Columbo is, guys. So I walk out to the door. I put my hand on the doorknob, and I stop, and I turn around, and I say, by the way, Susie, I wanted to ask you one more quick question. There's a reason why I do it this way. This comes down to some sales stuff, basically. In an environment where we're asking for something, people are just inclined to slam into a mode, rejection mode, essentially. If I ask them right off the bat for this thing, or I place a high amount of purpose on the thing I want, which the number one reason I'm walking into offices, guys, whether it be with a candy bowl or not, is to secure presentations. If I place that high level of purpose on it, they freak out. And they're inclined to tell me, no, 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 because it looks like I'm really wanted. And they're so used to all day turning people away that they're immediately slamming into rejection mode. But if I treat it like it's an afterthought, they go, well, that doesn't seem that threatening. I'll at least listen to what this guy has to say. So that's why I do the Columbo. So I turn around and go, Susie, by the way, there's one more thing I wanted to ask you. Is there anything, and I'm basically going to give you my lead-in question towards them telling me whether or not I can schedule a presentation. This is how I ask it. Not, can I come to a presentation? Not, can I teach a class? Not, what do you got? This is the best way I've found to make this happen. Is there anything coming up on you guys' calendar where I might be able to do a sales meeting with y'all or do a lunch and learn? So this is kind of like when we're on the phones and we're asking them, do you want a morning or an afternoon appointment? Not, when do you want your home inspection? I want the choice to be me or me. Not, hey, can I do a presentation? Yes or no. Yes or no questions are bad. I don't want yes or no. I want guys basically, can I come in and do a sales meeting? That's me in the morning in front of 60 of your agents. Or can I come in and do a lunch and learn, which is me for an hour, which might be in front of 10 of your agents, but I'm getting to spend an hour teaching with those agents. That gives me, either way, an opportunity to speak. And by the way, I'm using their lingo at this point. So there's no ambiguity of what I want. If they go sales meeting, or presentation, what do you mean by that? Or class, what do you mean class? Like a CE class, like a non-CE class? Like, there's no ambiguity. I'm telling them exactly what I want, a sales meeting or a lunch and learn, and I'm using their language. If I'm speaking to real estate agents, it might be different language for like real estate lawyers. Maybe it might be, can I speak at your Tuesday morning meeting, or can I come in and basically have an hour to give a class on, or give a educational session on. So you might not be able to use, like Brian, with real estate lawyers, you might not be able to use the term lunch and learn. I haven't dug deep into the lingo that real estate attorneys use, really. But I know for real estate agents, for example, lunch and learn is a big term. So I use that language. So then they go, well, we don't have anything going on sales, but you can do a lunch and learn next Friday. Or they might say, well, I don't know. What else did you have in mind? You know, it still leads the conversation towards me going, well, we just started teaching CE classes, or I'd really like to do a charity event with you, or some kind of foot in the door. I'd probably say with that approach, Richard, about 1 in 10 times, 1 in 10 visits to offices, which probably for our statistics means once a day that our team markets, we're walking away with a presentation in the offices. I'll give you one more bonus just for sticking on the call with me here, Richard. We actually have started doing follow-up, okay? So if we don't get it in the office, or if we reach that situation where, for example, we have they're like, oh, well, you know, Tom. Cool. Okay, I'm just making sure on questions. Tom, he actually is our broker, but he's not in right now. Well, cool. I take Tom's card. Now, a lot of people, those cards just stack up and nobody does anything with them. We will email Tom a list of our presentations, all 18 to 20 of them. And we will also include in the subject line of the email, this is incredibly important for follow-up. And this will work, I believe, for real estate attorneys as well. Free, in all capitals, free training sessions. I've caught the retention now. And by the way, if I don't get an email back within the first 3 days, all of our marketing people, I would do the same thing if I was the only guy doing the marketing, or if I was the guy doing the inspections and the marketing, I would slot out time to do this because it's effective. Sometime during the week, 3 days usually after I send the email, if I could swing it, I will follow up. I will call Tom on his cell phone. Hey, if I have to leave a voicemail, I have to leave a voicemail. But I call him back. Hey, Tom, this is Matt Smith with Text and Spec. I sent you an email about some free classes about 3 days ago. I just wanted to follow up with them and see if any of them sounded interesting to you. Two of the ones that are really a lot of real estate offices or a lot of real estate attorney offices or a lot of mortgage offices or whatever person we're going to market to. A lot that they're the two most popular ones that I'm getting requests for right now are actually our new Facebook Live class, as well as avoiding the aggravations of home inspections, which is a lot about how to properly comport yourself during a home inspection. So if either of those sound of interest to you, call me back at 817-265-5452 and let me know which one of those works best for you. I'll call you back next week. And basically at that point, we follow up with them every single week until we get a response. As the old sales adage goes, until they either buy or in this case schedule or die. So that's basically our follow-up, and that's something that we've been working on. And at this point, it's systematized to the point where it's just as effective for us as scheduling in offices. Sometimes that 1-2 punch really blows those scheduled presentations right out of the water. So those of you guys who stuck on after the call, let me see, 31 still, so good stuff. All you guys who stuck on, you just got something that usually I only teach at my Big Bang Marketing Bootcamp seminars, which are for like our top people. So you guys got some cool stuff there. Let me pop on this Q&A real quick. Ed said, great job. Appreciate your time, experience, and knowledge. Hey, I can answer by text. Thanks, Ed. By the way, it was good to see you. I know we didn't get a lot of time to talk, Ed, but it was good to see you at the Terry conference last week. So, I guess that would have been 2 weeks ago in Austin. So, guys, thank you so much for coming. Let me see. Oh, Phil is Monsters. Thank you, Matt. I answered this question live. So right now, that's all the Q&A we got. Oh, wait, one more just came in. Ken Peckham said, thanks, Matt. I will say thanks, Ken. And guys, as far as I'm concerned, that's what we, feel free to send some referrals to me at Cali. Charles Sapienza. Charles, I'll answer this one live. Charles, I'll tell you, if I see anybody moving to Cali, I will make sure to send them to you, my friend. Thank you very much. And I hope I said that right. I hope I said Sapienza. It might be Sapienza. So I hope I said that right. Thank you so much, guys. And like I said, feel free to call our office, 1-800-211-3981, both if you'd like more material like this, because this is the first time that we've actually done something like this. Oh, I said it right. Thanks, Charles. So if you guys like this stuff, feel free to call office, 1-800-211-3981. I would love to do more of these for you guys. I would like to make this happen on a pretty regular basis. We're just getting into the webinar world. And like I said, kind of making these kind of more bite-sized stuff, but if you'd like a full 2-hour webinar, 1-hour webinar, whatever works best for you guys, we're here for you. So feel free to call our office and let us know more of that. And also, guys, thank you so much. If any of you guys, like I said, Big Bang Marketing, give us a try on Big Bang Marketing. You got nothing to lose. It's $49.97. And You get an hour of my time helping you coach you through setting up your brochures and business cards, and so much more. Guys, thank you very much. It's good to hear. Bert and Rita are on. Oh my gosh, it's good to hear. It's good to see you guys on too. I hope to see you guys soon. I'm actually going to be in Canada in September, so hopefully I'll see you guys there. Thank you guys so much. I will. I could probably spend another hour here just seeing random people come up and saying hi to them. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. It was so good to have you on here with me, and like I said, we'll be doing more of this in the future. Guys, I'll see you on down the road. This is Matt Smith, marketing person extraordinaire for the Mastermind Inspector community, the director of marketing for TexInspect, and the main facilitator for the Big Big Marketing Bootcamp, the #1 and only marketing school for marketing staff created by marketing staff. Guys, have a great night. We'll see you again down the next one.